Hi, I'm Paul Edwards, author of the Mourners Woods books, and first and foremost, a monster kid. Tonight, I'm watching Wolf from 1994. Every once in a while, Hollywood convinces A-list actors to do genre films. One of my favorites is the Harrison Ford and Michelle Pfeiffer ghost movie, What Lies Beneath. Well, before that film, Michelle Pfeiffer did another genre picture, this one, Wolf, starring Jack Nicholson as a publishing executive who is bitten by a wolf out in the wilderness and soon starts to exhibit wolf-like characteristics. They never actually use the word werewolf in this film, and I took note of that because it's a hard thing to do. The film Night of the Living Dead never used the word zombie. And in fact, my novel, Mourner's Chasm, is a zombie story in which I never used the word zombie. So I think I notice it when it pops up in other productions. So Wolf never actually uses the word werewolf, but that's clearly what is going on here. The wolf spirit is influencing and sometimes dominating Jack Nicholson's character. In the meantime, Michelle Pfeiffer, who is his romantic interest in the story, is about the only person who at least half believes that something supernatural might be going on here. Meanwhile, Jack Nicholson's character in the publishing industry has an enemy, played by James Spader, who had been his young protege, but now has betrayed Jack Nicholson's character and is out to exploit the connections that he's made to usurp his position in the publishing world and, kick Jack Nicholson out and become the new big wheel. There reaches a point in this movie where the circumstances become a lot more serious than they had been, because the first act of the movie, it's almost funny, the wolf-like things that the main character is going through. But then real serious violence starts to happen, and you start to think, oh no, wait a minute, Jack Nicholson's character here is turning evil. I won't spoil what's happening, but if you're following the events of the film, it hits you in 2 seconds like, oh, of course, this is what's really going on. And I can't tell you what the final act of the film is without spoiling it, other than to say that there is a fight that is worth watching for any monster fans. The special effects in this film are pretty good. This is a more grounded werewolf movie than some others have been. I'm thinking of, for example, An American Werewolf in London, where they show tremendous changes to the human form as the person becomes an oversized wolf, like a dire wolf. The changes here are not nearly that dramatic. They're noticeable. You can see that the character is no longer human, but you can also still recognize which actor it is under the makeup. So Wolf, do I recommend it? Yes. This one is worth catching. A werewolf film, although it never uses the word, that really does a good job at putting A-list actors through the character tropes of a genre picture and having them still come off looking pretty good. Listen, if you're a fan of classic monsters and vintage horror, check out my book series, the Mourners Woods books. Hike for an hour across Dread Meadow and you'll reach Mourners Woods. Here you'll find horrors, monsters, ghosts, banshees, but the most dangerous threat will always be the friend who hiked here with you. My name again is Paul Edwards. My Mourners Woods books are for sale on Amazon. And incidentally, I have toyed with the idea of doing a werewolf story. Can you guess what the title would be? Considering what all of my books are called, Mourners Woods, Mourners Cliff, Mourners Chasm, Mourners Swamp. What would my werewolf story be called? Come on. Mourner's Moon, of course, Mourner's Moon. So if you ever see that my next upcoming book is going to be Mourner's Moon, you'll know that I got around to writing the werewolf one. All right, until then, I'll meet you in Mourners Woods.